You see the badge on the lot, Toyota, Honda, Lexus, and something in you relaxes because everyone told you the same thing for 30 years. Japanese means reliable. Japanese means it just runs. That assumption is quietly costing people thousands right now. Modern Japanese cars carry the same fragile turbos, the same touchy CVTs, and the same screen everything electronics as everyone else, and the badge does nothing to stop any of it. While most buyers keep trusting the name and skipping the homework, a few specific models largely avoided that complexity, and they remain among the few that still earn the old promise. Today, we are revealing 6 Japanese cars that come closer than most to earning the Buy It for Life label. Stay with me because the vehicle at number 1 has spent decades building a reputation that most modern cars can only dream of. Number 6. Mazda MX-5 Miata. People look at a Miata and see a toy, a weekend car, something a little frivolous to take seriously as real transportation. And that single assumption is exactly why the market keeps underrating a car that has earned one of the strongest reliability reputations in its segment. The reasoning runs backward. Buyers assume a small, cheap, fun car must be fragile, when the truth is the opposite, because Mazda built this thing simple on purpose. There is no turbo waiting to fail, no CVT to grenade, no complicated hybrid system hiding expensive surprises, just a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that mechanics actually enjoy working on. That simplicity is the whole point. Fewer systems mean fewer ways for ownership to turn into a financial event, and parts stay cheap because the platform has barely changed in spirit since 1989. This does not make it maintenance-free, and a neglected example with skipped oil changes will still punish you. But the risk here is honest and predictable, which is rare. Nobody brags about the sensible choice. Yet the Miata often proves more durable than many far more expensive sports cars while costing far less to keep alive. The market sees a toy. A smarter buyer sees one of the cheapest paths to genuine longevity. Number 5. Lexus ES350. Most buyers see a Lexus badge on a used sedan and immediately brace for the worst. Because the logic feels obvious: luxury car, luxury parts, luxury repair bills, the kind of ownership that turns every service visit into a financial event. That fear is reasonable with a lot of badges. With the ES350, it is almost entirely backward, and that gap is where the value hides. The thing buyers misread is what actually sits underneath that quiet, conservative styling. The ES is built on the same proven platform as the Toyota Camry and shares its naturally aspirated V6, which means you are getting commuter-grade Toyota durability wearing a nicer suit. There is no turbocharged engine to worry about, no exotic drivetrain, just an engine family with a long record of reaching very high mileage when properly maintained. Parts are widely available, independent shops know it well, and the luxury badge does not inflate the bill the way buyers expect. This does not make it bulletproof, and service history still matters, but the ES rewards the buyer who is tired of paying a premium for anxiety. The market sees a risky luxury sedan. A smarter buyer sees a Camry that simply dressed better. Number 4. Toyota Tacoma. If the last few entries were about cars people overlook, the Tacoma is different because almost nobody doubts it. The catch is that buyers assume that reputation comes free, when what actually earns it is the deliberately old-school engineering most modern trucks have abandoned. The Tacoma stayed simple on purpose. While many rivals moved toward more complex powertrains and increasingly technology-heavy cabins, Toyota kept the Tacoma relatively conventional, and that restraint became part of its appeal. Fewer stressed systems mean fewer expensive ways for ownership to go wrong, and the proof is not theory. A 2008 second-generation Tacoma fitted with the 4-cylinder engine racked up over 1.6 million miles in delivery service, going through engines but proving the platform could simply keep going. Even setting aside the extremes, numerous owners have documented exceeding 300,000 miles with relatively straightforward maintenance, and parts availability across the country keeps repairs affordable and uncomplicated. None of this means any used Tacoma is safe because abused trucks and rust still exist and clean history matters. But the risk here is honest, and the ceiling is enormous. Nobody buys a Tacoma to win the parking lot. They buy it because it tends to outlast the loan, the trend, and sometimes the owner's patience for shopping again. Number 3. Honda Civic Accord. The Civic and Accord are everywhere, which is exactly the problem, because enthusiasts call them boring. Casual buyers call them invisible. And that shared shrug is why the market keeps underpricing two of the most quietly durable cars on the road. What buyers misread is that ordinary is doing real work here. These are naturally aspirated, conventionally engineered cars that Honda refined over decades rather than reinventing every few years, and that conservatism is the whole point. Parts are on every shelf in the country. Virtually any independent mechanic is familiar with them, and the engines have a long record of reaching very high mileage when the oil gets changed and the maintenance gets documented. The cost of keeping one alive stays low precisely because the platform is so familiar. This does not make every example safe, since neglected cars and worn CVTs in certain years still demand a careful inspection and clean history. But the baseline risk is small and predictable. Nobody brags about buying the sensible one. They just keep driving it long after the exciting choices start asking for parts. The market sees background noise. A smart buyer sees a default that refuses to die. Number 2. Lexus GX46. This is where the badge fear gets most expensive, because buyers look at a used Lexus SUV and see a luxury money pit waiting to happen, the kind of vehicle that punishes you the moment the warranty ends. With the GX46, that instinct is not just wrong, it is hiding a platform widely regarded as one of Toyota's most durable modern SUV architectures. What buyers miss is what the badge is sitting on top of. The GX shares its DNA with the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, with genuine body-on-frame construction and a naturally aspirated V8 rather than a stressed turbo or a delicate hybrid setup. This is the truck that off-roaders and overlanders deliberately seek out. It has also earned a strong reputation among experienced technicians and long-term owners, because the hardware is built to be fixed and to keep going long past the point where softer luxury SUVs start nickel and diming their owners into trade-ins. None of this makes it cheap to feed, since it drinks fuel and major service is still real money. But the spending buys longevity instead of crisis management, and that distinction matters. The market sees a thirsty old luxury SUV with a scary badge. A smarter buyer sees a Land Cruiser in a tailored suit, priced like a liability instead of the asset it is. Number 1. Toyota Land Cruiser. Every list has one entry that reframes everything before it, and this is that entry. Because the Land Cruiser does not just survive the modern reliability problem, it openly refuses to participate in it. If the rest of this list was about cars that quietly earn the old promise, this is the one that was built around it from the start. The reason sits in a single idea Toyota took more seriously than anyone else. This truck was engineered for parts of the world where a breakdown is not an inconvenience but a genuine danger, so it was deliberately overbuilt, naturally aspirated for most of its life, and refined for decades rather than reinvented for the brochure. That conservatism is the whole point. Mileage figures exceeding 300,000 miles are well documented within the Land Cruiser community. The global parts network means it can be kept alive almost anywhere, and the hardware is designed to be repaired rather than replaced. This does not make it cheap because it never was, and a neglected example still needs a careful inspection. But the Land Cruiser is the clearest proof the thesis has. The market sees an expensive, old-fashioned SUV. A smarter buyer sees the rarest thing in modern motoring, a vehicle engineered with a level of longevity that few modern vehicles can match. 6 Japanese cars and one quiet lesson running through all of them. The badge is not the promise anymore. The engineering is. Most buyers still trust the name and skip the homework, which is exactly why the few cars that stayed simple and overbuilt remain the smartest money in the market. Find those, and you are not buying a reputation. You are buying the thing the reputation was supposed to mean.